Fire here and say, all right, we're going to oversell this box. If you throw it, we're going to rely on our corners and our secondary who've come through time and time again, but they can't keep letting Aaron Jones run this down their face.
Fake it to him here. Love, back foot, has a man wide open. It's going to be caught by Musgrave, racing towards the end zone. He is in. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Matt LaFleur is putting together a masterclass of offensive football. This is the old Y throwback. You see Musgrave, he goes down, it's going to be a bootleg away from him, and he just comes out the back door on the wheel route, and there's not a guy within 20 yards.
38 yards to Luke Musgrave. Extra point by Carlson is up and good. And the Green Bay Packers have a 40-burger in Big D in the third quarter. Unbelievable. It's all Green Bay, 41-16.
Yes, and you see why.
The 2024 NASCAR season started losing 5 of 7, trying to find themselves. Had that turnaround Thanksgiving Day, which we did, and fought their way in. Won last game of the season, clinched the playoff spot at 9-8, and now as a 7 seed, they are destroying Dallas in a place that they haven't lost in 2 years, as they throw it over the middle and have a completion to Jake Ferguson. That's good for a first down.
And it did seem like that Thanksgiving Day game was really the turning point of their season. And little did we know, Packers fans got honest, but little did we know the motivation of not giving Jordan Love his turkey leg. That became a kind of a big deal in Green Bay. You're welcome, Packers fans, because it seems like we got your season jump start.
You're gonna stir the Hornets' nest, aren't you? You had to do it.
Hey.
Well, it's ever worked. It's certainly doing it for Green Bay. Here's the thing. You think about all the talk about...
Green Bay is challenging the ruling of the field of the previous play.
Okay, Green Bay is challenging this, so let's take a look. Ferguson...
I think he caught it.
Looks like he caught it.
Yeah, I mean, he bobbled it a little bit, but I think that hand clearly stays under the ball. And
But what I wanted to tell you, I asked you earlier in the week, we're on the phone, I said, do you buy into the playoff experience versus no experience? Do you care? And you said you didn't really buy it.
I don't. And I don't personally, just from my own experience of being through multiple playoff games in different scenarios, young teams, old teams, first time, 10th time, whatever. And the stats back it up. I mean, the team with the most playoffs experience is less than 500 in the playoffs over the last 5 years. It's a fun conversation all week. It's a fun talking point in the media, but the reality is it really has no bearing on the outcome of the game.
Well, you see the Packers getting that playoff experience today.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called as a completed catch. Green Bay will be charged with its first time out of the half.
So there you go. They lose a timeout, and Dallas will have the first down with 1:03 to go in this third. And getting experience, potentially getting a chance to move on to the divisional round. And all of a sudden, you're that started with the questions of, well, wow, the NFC North, maybe it's wide open. Or maybe Green Bay has hit the reset button faster than most teams have ever done it. Here is Prescott, back to throw it to Pollard. Makes the catch out across the 40 to the 41 as we go inside the final minute of this third quarter.
Yeah, now if you're Green Bay's defense and you're Joe Barry, you just want Dallas to have to snap this ball as many times as possible here for the rest of this half. High safeties, keep everything in front of you and tackle.
Pressure on Prescott, gets rid of it. Pollard. Quay Walker is all over him. Gets back maybe to the original line of scrimmage. Four-man rush. Again, no receiver open. Prescott comes underneath, low for Pollard, and it's incomplete with 3 seconds to go in this third quarter.
I mean, look, the reality is these zone coverages, they're just giving Dallas fits. There's just nowhere to go with the ball. You see Dak, he's going from his first to his second to his third progression, and everybody he looks, they're blanketed by a zone defender who then it turns into man coverage like a zone match principle. That's the foundation of this style defense, and it's going to force them to have to go for an early 4th down here at the end of the 3rd quarter.
And so they will go. 4th and 5. Blitz coming. Everybody's coming. Prescott throws it off his back foot, and it's going to be incomplete. Tolbert never saw it. The 3rd quarter ends. The Packers will take over, and they are owning this day in Big D. 41-16. The upstart Packers surprising everyone, but they are rolling. And Felix owning the Cowboys. And this defense led by Joe Barry has made everything so tough on Dallas. It allowed them to build the big lead. And the Cowboys, frankly, haven't been able to stop Green Bay. They've punted, what, 1 time all game? On the move again after a stop on downs. Here's Aaron Jones. That'll put him over 100 and then more. Jones spinning his way down to the 21.
I don't understand being down this much. You know they're going to run the ball. Look how deep they're trying to run fit Donovan Wilson from. I mean, he's 12 yards off the ball. By the time he gets down, I don't know. I just think at some point you're down by 1 million. You know they're going to lean on the run game. You know they're going to try to end this on the ground. I just put bodies in there, and if they throw it over your head, who cares?
14, stop. 19, it's up.
This time it's Emmanuel Wilson getting a try. As they get to the edge on the left side. Pick up a few yards where he's shoved out of bounds. You know, Jones against the Cowboys, something magical. I don't know, because, you know, he grew up in El Paso and he loves coming back to his home state. But I mean, this is yards per game against the Cowboys ever. He's got the most. That includes today, 123 yards per game. Today, Jones has 115 yards rushing and 3 more touchdowns. It's pretty uncanny. I mean, it's. But the one thing about it is he's changed them late in the year. He was hurt for most of the year. Remember, we had him week 1. He got hurt then and really was never the same the entire year. And Matt LaFleur said the beauty is he's got plenty of tread left on the tires. He's probably the healthiest he's ever been this late in the year, and he's playing like it. On the bench here, though, goes to Wilson, who is barreling through tacklers and gets down to within a yard of the first down. Now a little skirmish away from the ball. Some frustration coming out for the Cowboys.
And I think in regards to the Green Bay run game, I think it's important to note, yes, the return of a healthy, fresh Aaron Jones is a huge part of the equation. But also remember, it's happened parallel to them really discovering this downfield passing game. Over the back half of the season, that was really where this offense made its greatest strides. And, you know, the notion that the more you run it, then you pass. No, the bigger threat you are to throw the ball. We've seen it here today. The fear of the play action pass has led to a lot of light boxes and easy run lanes.
3rd and 1. Wilson up the gut and forward, and a first down. And the drive continues. And the Packers trying to take down their former coach who led them to a Super Bowl, and Mike McCarthy. Look, this is a Cowboys team. He's done an amazing job. They've won 12 games 3 straight years, right? They earned the number 2 seed. They win the division, but the Cowboys were looking for a Super Bowl. They weren't looking for a win. They were looking for wins, multiple wins, 3 wins to get to the Super Bowl. And this is not only disappointing, it's ultra surprising in the manner that it's gone down. And Green Bay is looking to add even more salt to the wound. Quick throw, and it's incomplete. Believe it or not, all this is happening where that guy, Jaden Reed, who leads the team in receiving, doesn't have a single catch.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the entire roster has caught a ball with the exception of Reed. And I think that's really the beauty of it. I think when you have an offense that doesn't necessarily have to feature. I mean, listen, everybody wants CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, right? It makes life easier when you have a guy and just say, hey, game's on the line. You're our best player. Throw you the ball. Green Bay doesn't have that. Puts a lot of stress on the play caller. And obviously, Matt LaFleur has done a great job, but it does free up the quarterback to just let the play unfold.
Wilson off the gut and inside the 5, and a good run from him. You can mark him down at about the 3. Giving a little spell to Aaron Jones is Wilson, the rookie from Fort Valley State, and had a shoulder injury, his first game back in a while since week 11. And the Cowboys have had 0 answers. Most points they've allowed in team history in the playoffs, and they're about to allow some more.
You have to wonder if they punch this in here. Will we see Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, some of these guys that, you know, Watson coming back off injury, trying to keep Jones fresh.
No reason to, right? I mean, at that point.
Who would ever thought starting to sit starters at the beginning of the 4th quarter of the playoffs?
Wilson scurrying up the middle. Not much there. Brings up 4th down. Right now, there's no sign of trying to kick a field goal. Let the clock wind and go for it here on 4th.
Matt LaFleur wants to put the dagger in this Dallas defense, and he's not taking his foot off the gas, that's for sure.
They can actually get a 1st down inside the 1. It's 4th and 2. Aaron Jones back in the game. On the fake. Love zips it in there, and it's caught for the touchdown, Romeo Doubs. And the route is on in Dallas. Wow.
All right, so go back to the pass interference on the 2-point try. We showed Tolbert having some contact. This is what it should look like. It's the exact same play. Get in the way and then just uncover. That's the way it should look. He sees him late. He's the all day. That's the trail defender to just find a zone on the play action boot, and everything Matt LaFleur does right now is coming up for this Green Bay offense.
Romeo Doubs has had a career day. 151 yards on 6 catches and a touchdown. He never had a 100-yard game in his career, and the first one he has in his 2-year career is in the postseason. What a time for it. And now Carlson with the extra point. And it's up and good.
With
The
NFL
Green Bay
Game
Packers
Pass.
have come into a place where the Cowboys haven't lost a game in 16 games, and they've dropped 48 points, and they are cruising. Go in this game. It's the most points in team history. They did it in the divisional against the Falcons in 2010. Caveat here is they're doing it as a 7 seed at the home of the NFC East champs. They're doing it with Jordan Love making his playoff debut, and he's got a perfect passer rating right now. Can't play better. Aaron Jones has 3 touchdowns. He always kills Dallas. I mean, honestly, everything's a surprise, right? There's not one thing in this game where you're like, okay, like they have dominated every single facet of it today. The offense has done whatever they've wanted. The defense has clouded everything and made it hard. They've got a pick 6. I mean, you couldn't script it any better if you're the Packers.
Yeah, this is about as good as it gets. And we talked coming in. We said, all right, how does Green Bay win this game? We thought 30 was the number. We thought their offense would have to try to get as close to 30 as we can. We didn't know if they were going to get 48, and that would give their defense a chance. But I'm going to give credit. Both sides of the ball are dominating this game.
Prescott back to throw it and rips it to Ferguson. I think you have to go to Matt LaFleur and think about this. His 5th year as head coach of the Packers. Again, they had 2 #1 seeded teams, right? They both obviously lost in the playoffs, didn't get to the Super Bowl. But he's now made the playoffs in 4 of his 5 years as head coach. Quick dump over the middle to Pollard, who was wrestled down to 41. But this has got to be the best job he's done, right? I mean, with all this young talent and a team that had to fight its way into just to get in.
Oh, I don't think it's close. And again, I think this is the first season that we've really seen what this Matt LaFleur system wants to be by design. You know, over the last couple seasons, we mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. When you have a Hall of Fame type player, you have an Aaron Rodgers or someone of that caliber, he's the first to admit you'd be silly to not make sure you set up the offense to play to their strengths and preferences, and that's what he did. They kind of merged the 2 things together.
Prescott throwing and has a completion and a 1st down to Cooks, and he's still up on his feet but now knocked out.
So now Aaron Rodgers, he gets traded. He's in New York. Jordan Love, he's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. He's been learning. He's been absorbing this offense. He understands the mind of Matt LaFleur. So what do you do when you have a first-time starting young quarterback and a cast of 1st and 2nd year skill players? You run the system to the letter of the law, and that's exactly what they've done.
Here's Pollard. That will pick up the first down. He was a yard short last time, and the drive will continue. Well, we've talked obviously about Jordan Love following in the footsteps of Hall of Famers, right? How first postseason start, how did those guys do? Well, Brett Favre's '93 team, they won. He had 3 touchdowns there. Aaron Rodgers in '09, the wild card, lost, but he was sensational. And Love's team is, barring a miracle among miracles, going to win, and he's been as good as it gets. Prescott near side to Gallup. And the Cowboys obviously need 4 touchdowns and 4 two-point conversions in 8 minutes to come back, so they're asking a lot, but they're trying to stay in. But one more thought staying on Jordan Love. We were talking to him, and again, we're going back to Green Bay history. So, of course, you want to have Devontae Adams. They started this, somebody like that, right? Jordy Nelson, whoever. They started the season without a number 1 wide receiver. And Gallup, nice catch, and absorbs a hit from Campbell, but he's got a first down. And we said, you know, in a weird way, has that helped you? And he actually said it has.
It has, because he said he's the first. It's allowed me to just let the play out. I don't feel any pressure. I don't have anybody in my ear in the huddle. I don't have anybody on the sideline saying, hey, we got to get, you know, such and such involved, get them going. Because I have a bunch of young players that are just thrilled to even be in the game, and I just take what's open.
Prescott to Dowdle now, makes a move at the 5, and Dowdle surging his way forward right around another first down as we're 7.5 minutes to play. And they mark it as a first down, so a 1st and goal.
Yeah, here we go.
Dowdle, nope, it's Prescott on the fake. Looking for something to uncover, it never happens, and he's taken down by Enagbari. Meanwhile, you got the flip side, and Mike McCarthy and a 12-win team been so good again. I think have to be just stunned. I forget about losing, and they're getting destroyed at home, a place where they've been immaculate.
You have to imagine there's going to be some overreactions. I mean, playing in Dallas is great. It's one of the biggest franchises in the league, but it comes with a lot of visibility and a lot of expectation.
Now Prescott in trouble, and he is sacked. Lucas Van Ness, the rookie. And you can hear the Packers fans in attendance.
Yeah, Van Ness working against Tyron Smith, but again, look at the receivers. Who's he throwing the ball to? Who would you like to throw to? I mean, it just turns into scramble drill from the second they get to the top of their route.
So it's 3rd and goal. Prescott rifles over the middle, and he's got a touchdown to Ferguson. And they'll obviously go for 2 here. So Ferguson's got the score.
Yeah, nice job here by Ferguson, one-on-one. It's cover 2 man. They got 4 defenders across the backside playing high, and then everything's man underneath. And he's the middle run-through player. He wins across the backside of Savage, and Dak puts it on his chest. So, of course, this will set up. This will be their 2nd attempt at a 2-point play. Remember, the first one on the little bootleg rub got called to the missed point after try.
And we get a timeout by the Packers. Well, the NFL Pro Bowl games presented by Verizon headed to Orlando. The AFC and NFC face-off and skills showdown Thursday, February 1st, 7 Eastern on ESPN. And the action continues with flag football and more skills on Sunday, February 4th, 3 Eastern on ESPN and ABC. By the way, the Cowboys have 7 Pro Bowlers. The Packers have none. You want to revote that a little bit?
Oh, my God.
Get a couple Packers in the game.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting this long drive here by Dallas's offense. Rashawn Gary, Quay Walker, Preston Smith, they're all sitting on the bench. There's a lot of backup 2nd string guys right now on the field for Green Bay to close this thing out.
Hey, let's go, kill. Try false.
Remember last time it was false, they ran it to the left.
Here we go.
They'll do that here, and he'll get in for 2. Well, they ran it left. They scored the 2. Still down a long way. 5:54 to go. The Cowboys into the end zone. It's 48-24. Green Bay. Any 2 in playoff history. 10th meeting between them. And a little onside kick. And whoa, it's still free. And now Green Bay will secure it. So hard to get an onside kick now with all the different rule changes now. That one had a chance. Musgrave jumped on it.
They got the bounce. It just they didn't get anybody down there.
So the Packers have scored touchdowns on their last 5 possessions. Let's look at this kick.
Yeah, I mean, watch it. They got the bounce initially off of Jaden Reed. It just the front line of that Green Bay unit did a great job just blocking their assignments, and none of the Dallas guys could get through.
And so now Sean Clifford will come in for the Packers, the rookie backup quarterback, 5th-round draft pick out of Penn State. Is Penn State's all-time passing leader. Well, that makes our director Rich Russo very happy. And he'll give it to Patrick Taylor. Of course, Richie Zion's our producer today. Our entire NFL on Fox crew as we get a flag. If you said to the Packers, okay.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
You're going to go to Dallas, and Sean Clifford is going to be taking snaps with 6 minutes left. What would you have responded to that one?
Well, it either was a day like today that couldn't have gone better, or an absolute disaster, because that means I'm not even going to say what that would have meant otherwise. So they'll obviously take the former situation. When you have your backup taking blowout in your favor snaps at the end of a playoff game, that's about as good as it gets.
On the road, nonetheless. Now Taylor's going to get some reps. So Aaron Jones's day is done. 115 yards rushing, average 6.1 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns for him. Just sensational, as he's been the last month. Jordan Love, the first quarterback in NFL history with a perfect passer rating in his playoff debut. I mean, I'm not sure what else. You don't have to add anything.
There's nothing to add. And you know, I think something that's interesting is, he said, it's shocking. I think this result, I think, is shocking for everybody except the members of the Green Bay Packers. When we talked to him this week, we didn't know if it was just like a bunch of young guys that maybe didn't know what to expect and just were riding high coming into the playoffs, happy to be here. But there was this really underlying confidence within the group, and Matt LaFleur and everybody we spoke to, and it's almost like they knew something.
Well, now their reward is they get to go on the road to take on the #1 seed, the 49ers, next week. That will be the matchup. Don't know the day yet. And, I mean, gosh, after watching this, I wonder how you view that matchup. Maybe a little differently than you would have 3 hours ago.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a feeling this Green Bay team, listen, I don't want to sit here and say any of us predicted a 48-point performance on offense and an absolute blowout. Let's just be real. I mean, whatever the score ends up is not indicative of how this game was never really in doubt. This is an exciting team. Their offensive scheme and their offensive talent gives them the opportunity to give a lot of defenses fits. And listen, this is one of the best defenses in the league. Probably gets even a little bit tougher next week in San Francisco with that unit. So, again, it's going to come down to, can the Green Bay defense stop another prolific offense in San Francisco to give their offense a chance to have a day like today?
Yeah, I mean, they made it tough on Dallas. There's no question. I mean, the final box score numbers are not going to be really legit, but a couple of interceptions against Dak Prescott. One of them returned for a touchdown by Darnell Savage. That helped too. 3rd and 10 here for the Pack. And Taylor's just going to get it and run it for a yard. All right, well, Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon continues tonight on NBC. Concludes tomorrow with a doubleheader. Steelers at Bills and CBS, followed by Eagles at Bucks on ESPN and ABC. And then the divisional playoffs presented by Intuit TurboTax. Kickoff next weekend. Games on CBS, here on Fox, NBC, ESPN, and ABC. So we'll be somewhere, Greg, not sure exactly where, but we know that the Packers will be in San Francisco, just don't know the day, as they will punt it away. It's only the 2nd time they've punted today. Here's Whelan. And Turpin calls fair catch. Jordan Love today, his playoff debut, just absolutely fantastic. He's been poised, he's been confident, he's made every kind of throw, Greg. Back foot, line drive darts, little touch right here, you name it, he's done it.
And some of his best throws, and you're seeing him here in this highlight package, have come, like you said, with a guy in his face. Somebody either unblocked or somebody who's defeated the offensive player and is barreling down. And his arm talent, his ability to throw off platform, not having both feet always squarely in the ground. I mean, his biggest throws have come, or if he holds that ball for one click longer, it's a sack.
Yeah, here we go.
Here's Dak Prescott on first down. Pressure in his face, going to take off and run. And he's tackled from behind after picking up a first down. So, Greg, for the Cowboys, we talked about Green Bay and what's on next. They'll continue on and take on the Niners. For Dallas, again, this is a team that thought they had a Super Bowl team. They had the #2 seed. They're great at home. What's the repercussions of this?
It's just got to be so disappointing for this group. Everything went your way.
Prescott now going to air it out. CD Lamb makes the catch in stride. And it's a nice play, but a little bit too late.
Yeah, just everything kind of lined up. It almost looked like fate was unfolding. Philadelphia kind of struggling down the stretch. Them sneaking in to win that division title, getting a home playoff game. We talked about how good they have been the last 2 seasons at home. It looked like everything was aligning, so no one expected this. But listen, you play in Dallas, there's going to be a lot of noise, both the good times and the bad. And the reality, the conversations that are going to be had around this staff and around Dak Prescott and this future going forward for a team off back-to-back 12-win seasons. You just don't see it a lot in the NFL, but Dallas is a little bit of a different animal. Now we got a personal foul.
Yeah, TJ Slayton and Tyler Biotish. Slayton threw the flag on that shove. You can imagine trash talk and frustration and all that going on right now. Guessing they get Slayton there.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 93. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Yeah, that was pretty clear cut.
I think that was clear.
I think that was pretty clear cut. I mean, Green Bay's got to be careful they don't let them score too fast here. I mean, obviously they're going to have to get an onside kick. I mean, things are going to have to get crazy, but you just don't want to allow Dallas to just go right down the field and score and make this any tighter.
They almost got the last onside kick, right?
Absolutely. So Green Bay's got to be careful they don't get too conservative here.
No, we're good. Here we go.
Here's Prescott. Going end zone, Ferguson, and he makes the catch, and he's got another. What were you saying?
No, I mean, listen, a lot's got to happen. I mean, this was a 32-point game not too long ago, but just have to be careful letting up too quickly. And that was a fast score there by Dallas. They got 1 timeout left. They still got the two-minute warning.
So they go for 2. Try and make it a 2-possession game.
Kill. Watch them both. Here we go.
Quarterback draw, and it is a 2-possession game. Not quite dead just yet. 3:25 to go. They've made it interesting.
Yeah, just the entire middle of the field is wide open. All the linebackers are kind of walked, and Dak just sees that green grass and just decides to take it himself.
You know, Dallas has had playoff disappointment before. We started talking about this. Mike McCarthy has been fantastic. Won 12 games each of the last 3 years. They've been as good as anybody in the regular season. But this, like, the most disappointing of all in my eyes.
Yeah, and again, there was a lot of speculation coming into today. Fair or unfair?
Yep.
It kind of comes with the territory. I don't think that's necessarily an indictment of the job Mike McCarthy has done here. You mentioned 3 years in a row with 12 wins. There's teams throughout the league that would cut their arm off for that level of consistent success. So I think it's important to keep it in perspective. But as we've said time and time again, Dallas is a different animal. It's just a different place to play. And you know the headlines tomorrow are going to pretty much say just that.
Onside kick. That's nowhere near 10 yards. It's getting closer. Now Green Bay will jump on it. Look, you talk about championship drafts. This is what the Cowboys are about, right? Well, the last Last time they were even in the championship game was 28 years ago. And the longest droughts in the league. Cowboys will continue. The Lions are trying to end that this year. Obviously, the Commanders won't. Green Bay, well, they've been there a lot in that same time frame. And now for Jerry Jones, who's seen so much regular season success. I mean, the team in the regular season is right now is as good as it's been since Jimmy Johnson was here. I mean, they win during the regular season, but the playoff success has eluded them in a big way. And you've got to figure out why it doesn't translate to the postseason. Aaron Jones back in the game, a little surprised to be completely honest. And now there's other change on the horizon that could be right as well. And you don't know, but Dan Quinn has been talked about as being a head coach for multiple years, right? He's been here for 3 years. He's done a great job with this defense overall, and been a lot of teams that are interested in him. So he may be gone back in the head coaching ranks, and that changes things on the defensive side.
No question. I mean, he's a candidate. He's a name that's at the top of a lot of these teams' lists, and you know, he's one of the rare guys out there. I think where he fits the best is a team that needs a little bit of a culture revamp. They need to bring in a guy who can galvanize the locker room, give a clear vision, a clear message. And of course, we know what he brings from an X's and O's standpoint. This defense here in Dallas has been one of the best since he's gotten here, but he brings a different level of leadership that I think a lot of franchises out there could really use right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, by the way. The Packers brought back in their starters here with Love and Jones because the game got interesting. It's 2 possessions, so they're trying to just make sure it doesn't get one of these crazy endings. So Love was out, Jones is out, now they're back in.
I always think an interesting test. Anytime there's these conversations, and again, I'm going to be the first to go on record. I think the conversation about replacing Mike McCarthy is crazy talk. So let me just preface it by saying that. But I always think the best exercise is, if you let go your coach, would anyone else hire him? I think the answer with Mike McCarthy is clear. I think teams would jump over themselves to hire him to have this level of consistent success. So if the answer to that question is yes, that answers it.
And we get a timeout. Green Bay is going to call their final one. They're just trying to officially salt this away rather than give it back and have to sweat it out. Aaron Jones coming back to Texas. Just always plays well, and he was great. Another 100-yard game for him. Now 4 straight games over 100 yards in a row. 3 touchdown day for Jones. And you know what? Maybe before the game, a little greatness rubbing off on him. Great Emmitt Smith here gave him a hug. 3rd and 7. Love to throw it, trying to wrap it up. Kraft incomplete, and it stops the clock with 2:29 left. I mean, certainly keeps the eyeballs on the TV for a minute now, doesn't it?
I mean, they're going to be able to stop the clock still one more time with the 2-minute. A little surprised Matt LaFleur didn't just hand that off, knowing that if they don't pop a run it down to the 2-minute warning. With a good punt, you pin Dallas, and you say, okay, in 2 minutes with no timeouts, can you go the length of the field twice for touchdowns and get both 2-point conversions? So they still can stop the clock one more time.
Honestly, the fact that we're even having the conversation is something. It was a 32-point game with under 6 minutes to play. Well, fair catch call. Still a lot of work to do. 2:22 to go, down 2 possessions. When you're up 32 with 6 minutes, you're feeling great. You're like, okay, we're good. And then all of a sudden, you're like, well, wait, well.
Their guys are on the sideline. They're taking off their tape. They're taking off their wraps. They got back